is because we do the most and best testing. When I say we mean the United States. Just to be clear, the idea that testing is the reason why the United States has so many cases, the allegation is that testing is giving a false sense of the spread of the virus. I mean, is that factually correct?
No, it's completely false. It's fair to say that you can find more cases when you do more testing, but the U.S. is experiencing a rebound even once you factor out the increased testing. And, it's true, the local authorities over time have gotten their act together on testing, no thanks to, a broad, clear message from the federal government. And that testing, our foundation's been funding certain innovations like the test-at-home swab and various ways of processing the samples. And so in the fall, the testing capacity will continue to go up. That's good news. But that's not the reason why we're seeing these case increases. If you take New York or the New York area out, in fact, we're still very much in the thick of things, and better treatment is reducing the deaths. But particularly as you get into October and November, this thing will be back in big numbers if we don't restrain our behavior more than it looks like we are right at the moment.
If you start to look at the actual numbers of tests, what you'll hear is the United States now conducting over 400,000 tests a day, which, as you point out, significantly better than we were. It was less than 20,000 a day, I think, back in March. But I think the question comes up is, what is the right number, right? Because what you keep hearing is, we've done 25, 26 million tests in this country. It's far more than other places. So what's the problem here? Isn't that enough tests? Is there a right number?
Well, with testing, there is an approach that people talk about where you do mass testing, but 500,000 a day, that means over a course of a week, you're testing 1% of the population. So that's still a very scarce resource. You have to confine it to people who are either at very high risk or who have symptoms or had contacts with somebody who tests positive. If there's breakthroughs that let you get from 1% a day, 1% a week, to more like 10 to 20% a week, then you could use mass testing to find cases. But, no other country has relied on that. What other countries are doing is they're restraining their behavior, including using masks better than us, but they're also quarantining when they test positive, and they're doing contact tracing. And there are states that are very serious about contact tracing. It's been slow to get going. It hasn't worked as well here as it has, say, in Germany or South Korea or Australia. It's partly when you have a large number of cases, it's very hard to get right. People have a sense of privacy that are tough. The applications have not really, the software hasn't added much to it. So because our behavior and our contact tracing is not working well, we continue to have very large case spread. And it is embarrassing versus, say, Europe or other countries.
You and Melinda have worked around the world on viruses and diseases. You've had incredible results in many different parts of the world. And you're dealing with vaccinations in places, which is obviously politically, socially, a very controversial issue in a lot of places that you operate. Have you ever, in your vast experience, seen a situation where fighting a virus or disease has become so politicized, where the act of wearing a mask now seems to be a political statement in some way?
I wouldn't have expected it here in the U.S. The governor of North Dakota, a friend of mine, had to say, hey, please don't be mean to people who are wearing a mask, which, kind of blows the mind. We have seen the equivalent in polio eradication, where there'll be rumors that the polio vaccine is to sterilize women and that you really shouldn't go near it. And so, yes, vaccines are often subject to these rumors. and those rumors are just so hard to get rid of. Even the thing from the past where they said it was associated with autism, which trial after trial showed that that's absolutely not the case. You just can't. The bad news travels faster than the truth in that case, and so there's definitely some dissonance in the U.S.
But I mean,
we're going to have a lot of cases in the fall.
The irony with this is, I mean, it's mask wearing. It's not, injecting something into somebody. It's something which we can all do, as you said. It doesn't really cost anything, and it not only is helpful to the person wearing the mask, but it's also helpful to everybody around. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more with Bill Gates.